A very warm welcome to our camper van. So we are Sarah and Lee of How to Travel, and we thought it was about time we showed you our second home, which is our lovely camper van. So just a little bit about us before we get into the tour, and the pros and cons of owning a camper van. So we have travelled to 42 countries and across 38 US states. So we love to travel, as you can tell, and across the world. So we've done a lot of Asia as well, and we've actually got back not long ago from Malaysia and other parts of Asia as well. So we are currently enjoying the camper van back in the UK, which will be part of the pros and cons. And as part of being a bit of a digital nomad lifestyle, we get to do this, which is awesome. So what we thought, because we don't know about you, but when we first started thinking about owning a camper van, it's quite hard to actually work out, what do you do? Is it worthwhile? Do you just have camping? Do you do a tent? Do you get a small camper van? Do you get a large camper van or a motorhome or a caravan? So we were very much keen on the idea of having a Mercedes Sprinter, and that's partly from watching some other people who have Mercedes Sprinters. And again, we'll go through like the pros and cons of what that is about. But yeah, join us on our journey that we are currently on, where we get to tour a little bit around in our camper van. We are also going to do a separate video about tips and tricks of all the gear that we have gathered over time to save you time, so you don't have to look like we did and research. We'll give you all the tips of the stuff that we've got in this van to make life easy. Lee is behind the camera, so
That's me. The brains.
Yeah, just so you know where we are at the moment, we are currently in a place called Rooksbury Farm, which is in Wickham on the south of the UK, should I say. So yes, just so you know, this is where we're at. It's a very nice place here. If you are in the UK, do check it out. So if we show you inside quickly, so you get to actually see what the van is like, and then I'll get into the pros and cons.
Let's do this.
So, as we say, Mercedes Sprinter van. We've got really comfy chairs in the front. So we actually bought this van as a shell. And we were lucky enough to have a good friend of ours, who converted it for us. Here's Trim Porters, so look him up. He does lots of different work with vans.
We'll put a link.
We'll put a link in the description. We'll put a few links in our descriptions as well, just so you know what we are talking about when we're referring to things. So we actually have just
one thing, just to throw it in there. So Trim Porters, which is Russ, he's a friend of ours. He did recommend that if you're going to buy a Sprinter, he said to get one with air conditioning and 6 gears. So the air conditioning, if you've not got that, then that could be troublesome and very expensive to maybe retrofit. But yeah, make sure you get aircon in there, because it's a really good thing. And the 6 gears as well, unless you want an automatic. So yeah, that was the advice from him, which is great.
Yes, awesome. And as we say, we will do a video all about the tips of having a van. So we designed this ourselves in terms of what we wanted, and we did go for the toilet and shower scenario, and
so that's a proper shower and a nice
toilet,
a Thetford toilet, which is one of those turny ones, and you need one of those at top, obviously, to any condensation, so that's really nice in there.
So then you move into the more like living space part of our van. So as you can see, we have a table, we've got 2 chairs, so we both can work on here, and you can make this into more of a couch the way it's designed. So you flatten that all out, and all the cushions make it into a couch. And then you've got our kitchen area. So we've got a fridge, we've got a microwave, and we've got storage, so we can get all of our stuff in here. We don't really struggle with space in that sense. And we've got the essentials: kettle, toaster, wine. And then at the back, so we went for a made up bed. So there's different options when we were looking where you can make it into a bed straight off, and then you have like a garage underneath for storage. We'll show you that in a bit. Or you can actually have it so you have 2 big seats, and then you just make up your bed each night. Understandably, you don't then get as much storage because you've only got under the seats. But for example, we have like storage underneath these seats. So we feel like we have quite a good amount of places we can put stuff. But yeah, you do obviously always have to make that call about made up bed, not made up bed. But this is very, very, very cozy. Very cozy. So in terms of pros and cons of owning a campervan, so we've had this now for about 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah.
4 years, yeah. And one of the main things we love about it is flexibility. So we do just get to go wherever we like. We are based in the UK at the moment. So if we think, okay, yeah, at a weekend or in the week, we just want to go off, we can do. This is fully off-grid as well. So we don't always have to have electric hookup. And there are places you can go for free in the UK. We tend to come to actual campsites just because you get extra amenities, facilities. So that is definite pro of the flexibility of just living life on the road if you want to. However, to say a bit of a con with that is that sometimes we've wanted to be spontaneous, and then we've looked at sites that we want to go and stay in, and we've come against a bit of a problem in that they're all booked up. So one time recently we were actually on the road, we didn't know where we were going to end up, and we started to phone around a few of the sites to see if we could get in that night, and we couldn't. It was all fully booked pretty much everywhere. So there is that, you can be a bit spontaneous, but if you're in a camper van like this size, then yeah, it's not always as kind of easy as you think it's going to be. And then another pro, cost. So we were finding that if we wanted to just go away for the weekend and just explore, that hotel costs are pretty high and they seem to be getting more and more expensive. So having the camper van actually works out really great. So as an example, next week we have a birthday, which is Lee's, and we're actually going to London for the weekend. We are able to stay at a campsite in Crystal Palace and just get the bus in. And I think the bus is what, like £5?
I think it was about £2.
Or £2.
It was something stupid.
It was so
£5 for
cheap.
2, maybe.
Yeah, £5 for the both of us. It was so cheap. And it's not, the bus stop's not far from the campsite. So the fees of staying on the campsite's about £35 a night. And then we just get the bus into the centre of London. So in that respect, that is a lot more cost effective than, but getting a hotel. Then in terms of the flip side of that is the cost of owning a van can start to creep up, which we've had experiences of. So you've got the insurance each month, you've got the general upkeep, so obviously MOT, servicing, and if anything needs fixing, and just general maintenance of keeping this van in tip-top condition.
It's like owning another home.
It is like owning another home, yeah. So that is something you do have to bear in mind. It can feel, if you're not using it that much, it can feel like it is just draining your pockets a little bit. But then on the flip side, when you come away, it all disappears and you're just really glad to be away. One major pro, which we love, is just the comfort factor. So we've done all sorts of camping before. We've been in a tent, we've been in campervans in Australia, which are a little bit smaller. One felt pretty much like we were in just a car. I mean, it was great, but yeah, it was a car basically. So we do find this very, very comfortable. Like last night we were just chilling and watching a film because we brought our screen with us this time. And it's just awesome because we've got a Wi-Fi connection in here. So that is really, really great. You do feel very comfortable. You can actually, like, you can see I'm standing and I'm not having to crouch at all. Same goes for Lee. And how tall are you?
Nearly 6 foot, so
nearly 6 foot.
Fine.
And he's got plenty of space. On to the major pro, which we absolutely love, is just getting outside in nature. So where we are right now, it's a really lovely site. You've got trees all around, the sun is shining, and you do get, and one thing we've noticed with camping across the world, so we've done campervanning in Australia and New Zealand and main two other places, and there is something about campsites seem to get really good spots. So we found in Australia, we were like rocking up to beachside campsites when if you're in a hotel, you'd either pay extreme amounts of money to be there or you'd be further inland. So campsites generally do get very, very good spaces. And we found that with Europe as well. You get the right one and you're in idyllic locations. And then, so sometimes you can feel like you're in locations you're not familiar with, and so you do have that element of security of just making sure that you feel safe. So we have certain things we do where it does help us to make ourselves feel a bit safer. We'll talk about that in the tips video. So weather's always interesting. As we've said, we're in the UK. That can be a bit challenging because we are in July at the moment and yesterday was actually pretty cold. So that is one thing to always think about if you're campervanning, is that you are at kind of whatever the weather wants to do, you have to go with it. It's all part of the fun. And obviously a lot of people have awnings and stuff like that, which is a really good thing to do. One great thing for us is being able to work from the van. So as I said earlier, we've got our laptops on the table. That gives us the freedom because we've got Wi-Fi. We can work from the van, which is amazing. That's what we've always wanted to do. So we just get on the road. Lovely. Perfect way to be a digital nomad if that's what you're after. So as a summary, we would say that owning a camper van is a really, really good thing to do if you're going to use it. So using it quite regularly to keep it on the road, keep it going, keep everything working. And if you want to have that flexibility and just go to different places, it is an amazing thing to have. And whenever we go out in the van, we have smiles on our faces because it is just a feeling of going back to basics, but with the comforts. So, however, if you are thinking that you're not going to use it that often, you're not sure about the upkeep and the cost of the upkeep, and you're not too sure about being in a bit more like confined spaces, then maybe something else is the option for you. But yeah, definitely worth it if you just love being in the outdoors and you just want to be with nature. So costs, I think you have to weigh up the costs of how often you're going to use it versus the flexibility, freedom, and enjoying life on the road. So that is us. That is where we're at. As we say, we're going to be camping in this a few more times in this summer in the UK. And our ultimate dream is that we'll campervan across the US one day. So we'll keep you posted.
Cool.
Over and out.